Alright, boys and girls, welcome to our first video lesson in Chapter 7. Chapter 7-1, Ratios and Proportions. Alrighty, here we go. Alright, folks, look at this problem real quick right here. If the ratio of boys to girls in a class is 4 to 5, I want you guys to take about 1 minute here and answer these 4 questions. What fraction of the class is boys? If there are 20 boys, how many girls? If there are 81 kids in the class, how many are girls? And what percent of the class is female? Stop the tape and go ahead and answer these questions real quick. Okay, what fraction of the class is boys? You should have found that there were 4/9, and the reason is there are 4 boys to every 5 girls, which means there are 4 boys and there are 5 girls, so there are 9 total students. A fraction is always part over total. If there are 20 boys, how many girls? You should have found that there are 25 girls. And the reason is we can make a proportion down here. We can say if there are 4 boys to every 5 girls, well, if there are 20 boys, how many girls? We know that we're going to cross multiply right now, so 4 times x is 4x is equal to 5 times 20, which is 100. If I divide both sides by 4, I get 25 or 25 girls. If there are 81 kids in the class, how many are girls? We'll do this in purple. We should have found that there are 45 girls. And the reason for that is there are 5. The fraction of the class that is girls is 5/9 because there are 4/9 boys and 5/9 girls. So 5 out of 9 is equal to how many out of 81? You guys do know how to cross multiply, or maybe you can see that the answer is 45 right in your heads right now. But any which way, if we cross multiply, we would get 9x is equal to 5 times 81, which is 405. If I divide both sides by 9, I get 45. What percent of the class is female? You should have found it was 55.6% or 55.5%. And the reason for that is because 5 out of 9 are girls, which means how many out of 100? And all we're doing now is once again cross multiplying. We're going to get 9x is equal to 500. Divide both sides by 9. Okay, so we are talking about ratios. Remember, a ratio is always part to part. There are special ratios. Sometimes we have a fraction, which is part to total. We can also have a percent, which is part to 100. But you can always write a ratio as a fraction. You can write it using the words x to y or with a colon x to y. These 3 things here all mean the same thing. Okay, just be careful when we're writing a ratio looking like a fraction. It may be a part-to-part ratio, so just be careful there. Okay, when we solve a proportion, we have 2 equal ratios, and you guys know we can cross multiply. We'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, but there are 4 parts of a ratio: the first term, the second term, the third term, and the fourth term. The upper left-hand corner, that's always the first term. We'll call that the A. The B, the lower left, that's called the second term. The C, the upper right, that's called the third term. And the D, the lower right, that's called the fourth term. When we talk about proportions, the first and the fourth terms are called the extremes, and the second and third terms are called the means. So, and again, we just went through this. You guys know that in a proportion, if things are proportional, we can always cross multiply. In other words, the product of the extremes, A times D, is always equal to the product of the means, B times C. So let's solve the following problems for x. These are proportions. All we're going to do is cross multiply. In the first one, I'm going to cross multiply the extremes first. 16 times x plus 3 is equal to 10 times 9, which is 90. Please make sure you distribute. So we're going to get 16x plus 48 is equal to 90. I'll let you guys finish that in a moment, but let's look at the second problem right now. We're going to cross multiply first. We get 15 times x plus 3 is equal to 5 times 29 minus x. Don't forget to distribute now. We get 15x plus 45. That's a 5. And then we get 5 times 29, which is, don't tell me, 145 minus 5x. Go ahead and solve those two equations. Stop the tape. And you should find that in the first one, x is equal to 21/8. And then the second one, x is equal to 5. Alrighty. Okay, in this problem right here, we're going to solve for the ratio of x to y. So as opposed to solving for x or solving for y, we're solving for the ratio x to y. So I want to know x to y is equal to what? So first thing I'm going to do is divide both sides by y, because I want a y on the bottom. And I'm also going to divide both sides by 4 to get rid of the number in front of the x. Now that I've done that, if I switch colors, I can see the 4's will cancel. Also, the y's will cancel. So my ratio, x to y, is equal to 5 to 4. And you can see now that even though 4x is equal to 5y, that means that x must be bigger than y. The ratio is 5 to 4. In this case, again, I need to solve for x over y. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to cross multiply, and I get 7x minus 28 is equal to, now I'm going to cross multiply this way, 4y minus 28. I'm going to add 28 to both sides. In other words, the 28s will cancel, and I'm left with 7x is equal to 4y. Okay, you guys take a quick second. Now that we're here, finish the problem like I did before. In other words, we're going to divide both sides by y, and we're going to divide both sides by 7. See what happens when you do that. Okay, in the first one, we already found that the ratio of x to y was 5 to 4. And now in my second one, you guys finish this on your own. When we divided both sides by y and both sides by 7, we got the ratio of x to y is equal to 4 to 7. All right, one more problem here. The ratio of the measures of the angles of a triangle is 2 to 3 to 4. We want to find the three measures of the triangle. You guys did this last year in Algebra 1. We know that the three angles of a triangle add up to 180. So I'm going to let the first angle equal 2x. I'm going to let the second angle equal 3x. I'm going to let the third angle equal 4x. I now know that 2x plus 3x plus 4x is equal to 180. That means that 9x is equal to 180. Divide both sides by 9. X is 20. That means now that my first angle is going to be 40. My second angle is going to be 60. And my third angle is 4 times 20, which is 80. So the three angles are 40, 60, and 80, which adds up to 180. Hey, hey, hey. All right, folks, have a great day. We'll see you soon.